Hello, my name is Miranda Orinda Moon, and I decided to do a video, start a series of videos today because it's a special day for me, a milestone, kind of a rite of passage age. It's the 65th time I've taken a trip around the sun. So I guess I'm officially a senior citizen. And hopefully I'm beginning to more fully embody the capacity and the archetypal characteristics of an elder in our society. And I want to start this video with this thought in mind, which is the first sentences I will start my spiritual memoir with, which I guess I'm going to do it in written form and in spoken form, that human beings live storied lives, and this is my story. So through this series of videos, I will share some of my stories that have occurred through my journey, which has been extremely eclectic. My journey through life, awakening to the indigenous soul that I am, but also as a transgendered person. And I'll chronicle my life in a way that weaves those two together, my spiritual life and my coming out as a transgendered female. And so it will begin with growing up in suburbia, United States, in a place that was considered, and its claim to fame was the largest brick community in the United States. Being mentored by a grandfather that was a primitive Baptist, and then beginning to explore drugs and the yogic traditions and the shamanic traditions, even in my early days as a teenager, and spending some years doing that, and then going through a born-again experience, and talking in tongues, and going to Bible college, and street preaching, and casting out demons, and doing that whole phase of my journey, I think for 13 to 15 years, and then going out west and meeting a medicine woman and a medicine man, and after that, all the different spiritual rocks I turned over, seeking for the Holy Grail, looking to everyone and everything and questioning everyone and everything, seeking for something that would help me feel peace in my life, because I was being driven by fear. And I learned that fear was a great companion and taught me a lot about life, and enabled me to develop the capacity to see the world with an integral lens, to be able to look at the world through this prism and see different facets of reality in different ways, in many ways. And so I'll travel through the times where I was out on the reservation. I studied with the Sikhs and the Buddhists and the Sufis, and had near-death experiences, and lived in the woods for 7 years after my mom, son, dad, sister, and brother all left my life in a 2-year period. Having visions in that forest, I call it my forest of dreams, because I had many visions in that deep state of despair and grief. I never thought I would come out of it. I never thought I'd have the capacity, ability to even do this, because I went from being a gregarious professional outside salesperson in a large city, Dallas, Texas, to not being able to be around people or function around people because I was hearing everything, feeling everything, and feeling the pain and the suffering of the world. It was more than my soul could bear. And feeling that not only my own individual pain and suffering, but my generational pain and suffering, and then on a larger scale, the pain and suffering in this world. So it's a lot to deal with, and there are a lot of people that are listening to this that are the people I call the sensitives, the sensitive ones that too feel so much and they don't know what to do with these feelings, you know. And it drove me to the point where I remember one time somehow I got out west. I don't know how. I remember being in a desert, had a 357, and I was going to take my head off. I couldn't take it anymore. And what saved me, and I'll tell that story in a more fuller sense down the road, a blue butterfly saved my life. And my life was spared many other times. I've had so many occasions that I could have been taken out of this world, but I'm still here. And so I feel like it's time for me to tell my story. Many people have asked me to tell my story, and we live storied lives. And each of you have a story, and whoever's listening to this, I wish that I had the time, and I will make the time, to anyone that wants to come and share with me, to commune soul to soul and listen to one another's stories, and to share the love and compassion that we have. Part of my calling is to, it's what Carl Jung said. Carl Jung said, it's a privilege of a lifetime to become who you truly are. And that it's a cycle, and there are layers of peeling off the indoctrinations and peeling off everything that we are not to find who we truly are. And there's nothing really inherently wrong with that. We chose to come into this to go through that process so that we could be born again. What that means is you're awakened to who you truly are. And so I've been awakening, and I'm still awakening. And so I'll share that process and the things that I've been through, and you'll identify yourselves in that process as well. And maybe if you're younger, my story will provide some level of hope. That was my mama's favorite word, and that's something we're going to talk about as part of what her journey and what she went through. But she was an angel of hope, diagnosed with late 4-stage cancer in her, I don't know how old she was, 30s, 40s, when I was a teenager. And they cut a mole out of her leg and took about 3/4, and they did 9 months chemo, and they said it didn't work. Now the cancer has spread to every major organ in your body below your heart. And we brought her back to the farm. 3 weeks to 3 months is all they said she would live. And then she would be gone. So she went on an all raw food diet, juiced 50 pounds of carrots a week, was being was under the guidance of a medical doctor, a DO here in Dayton, Ohio. And you know how long she lived? 33 years. And she got into square dancing and clogging and developed her own clogging team, the Wildwood Cloggers. They clogged all over the place, you know. And when I went to her funeral, so many people came up to me and said, just being around your mom gave us hope. You know, she inspired hope in people. And see, hope isn't just something that we wish for. In the Greek, it meant confident expectation, but it's a feeling. It's a feeling that we connect to that gives us the courage to, like my mama said, sometimes all you can do is get up and take one foot, put it in front of the other, and trust God with the rest, what I would call the divine life. And so many of us has been through the last couple of years, and we have been gone through another layer of collective trauma. And I won't expound on that. You know what I'm talking about. It's affected us individually and collectively, and we've all gone through it. And so my hope is that in me sharing my story, that you will find the confidence and the capacity to continue on, because we all came here as individual souls with individual fingerprints, individual eye prints, individual energy signatures, individual soul gifts. And we go out and we go through these rites of passage, and you know what they're for? And suffering's involved in those, but they're to awaken us to what we brought into this world, so that we could come back from those dark nights of soul and offer our gifts to the community, in service to the community. That's why we're here. And you know what? The community cannot be whole unless each of us tap into the wisdom, the inherent wisdom and soul gifts that we have, and offer them in service to the community. So that's why I'm here. Now I have a temple here in Dayton. It was called the House of Ra. Randy Allen was my birth name, Ra. And so there's a lot to that story. We'll talk about it later. But it's not called Sanctuary for the Soul. That's the feminine. And in the sanctuary, I'm the temple priestess. And I have a couple rooms and the stairway going up to the rooms is a temple. And it has a couple rooms in it that are sound chambers. One's called the earth chamber, the other one's called the star chamber. And so I work with sound. And the sound is there to help wash away what's no longer needed or necessary. And it's also to awaken, to help facilitate the awakening. I mean, each of us have to do our own work, but the work that comes through me as a hollow bone, what the Native Americans say, I'm a hollow bone, so it flows through me, and it's there to help you awaken to who you truly are. For it's the greatest gift you can give to yourself. It's the greatest gift that you can give to your family. It's the greatest gift that you can give to your community. So we're going to tell stories. I'm going to go in the kitchen. Sometimes I'll be demonstrating longevity strategies that I've learned along the way that I need to more fully engage in now in my life. Raw food strategies, whole food strategies, herbal strategies, things that I've learned, and find things that might help you in your life. And then we'll spend some time in both the sound chambers. And then here in Dayton, Ohio, if you're in Dayton, or if you want to come to Dayton and visit me, I'm always open. I'd love to share my gifts. I don't charge money for anything. I do accept donations, but I learned a long time ago the sacred is not for sale. And so I've never liked charging in the offering of my spiritual gifts. So enough said on that. I'll talk more about that later. Now, to end, I would like to play my didgeridoo. I'm not going to point it right at the camera. It might be a little bit loud. I'm not sure how it'll come through on the speakers. And then I'm going to play a short song on my flute. And it's a song that I call what do I call it? Okay, I know what it does. I'm not sure what to call it. It's calling on the ancestors. And the ancestors are the ones who have gone before, but it's also the ones who are to come. And the ancestors are everything that we eat, breathe, everything that we are, everything that made us. So it's the fossils, and it's all the nations that's in Mother Nature that have passed on and become part of the continuous cycle that gives us these bodies. The butterfly nation and the winged ones and the buffalo nation, Tatanka, and all these, the floral and the fauna and microbial nations, the mushrooms, the plants. I mean, we should be living in harmony with the plants, consuming the plants that have that life and light force that comes from the sun. It's the strongest in raw foods. Not saying that you need to be a raw fooder, but we definitely need to have that as a part of our diet. So we'll talk more about that later. One of my sayings is that I stand in awe and I bow in gratitude for this gift called life. And it's truly each breath and each day, each person that I get to gaze into and commune with, it's a gift. So I have a lot of gratitude. And I'm in awe of all the different kinds of people that I've met in my journey. And all the ones I'm going to get to meet. And I'm thankful to the ancestors. And I call upon them now. May there be peace on earth. And may it begin in each one of us. May each of us more fully awaken to who we truly are and why we came to this earth in this pivotal time called the Great Turning, a paradigm shift like no other, moving from an unsustainable way of living on the earth to living in a sustainable and sane society, one that honors and respects all of life equally, all of equal value. Let us learn to live again, to live in harmony within ourselves, in harmony with one another, in harmony with nature, in harmony with those who differ from us, in harmony with the cosmos. May we awaken to the natural cycles. Help us, Mother Nature, awaken to the true nature of who we each are. Until the next time, may peace be with you.